What if everything we knew about history was incomplete, not wrong, but missing critical pieces? Around the world, clues point to a deeper, forgotten layer of human history, erased artifacts, vanished records, and structures that shouldn't exist. Some losses were natural: fire, war, time. Others seem too deliberate. This is the story of mysteries that defy logic, of lost evidence buried or stolen by time, or maybe by design. From forbidden texts to ancient technologies, what truths did we lose? And who didn't want us to find them? Summer 1795. Under the glow of a harvest moon, 3 teenagers uncover something impossible on this tiny Canadian island. Their shovels strike oak platforms every 10 feet, a man-made shaft descending deeper than any colonial construction. At 30 feet, they find coconut fibres, impossible in Nova Scotia's climate. At 90 feet, their tools hit stone, and the symbols carved there would launch a 200-year mystery. Translated decades later, the message reads, 40 feet below, £2 million lie buried. But when they breach 98 feet, the island fights back. Seawater explodes into the shaft with terrifying force, filling it in minutes. This wasn't just a hole in the ground. The engineering precision suggests something far more valuable and dangerous. The moment they breached the pit's final defense, the curse awakened. In 1861, the first victim drowned when boiling water erupted from below. In 1897, Maynard Kaiser was crushed by collapsing timbers. His last words, "It moves when you touch it." 6 men have now died pursuing this treasure, all in eerily similar circumstances. Modern scans reveal why: an elaborate flood tunnel system spanning the entire island, engineered with mathematical precision. Core samples show these tunnels align perfectly with coastal landmarks, suggesting the builders had knowledge of the island's geology that shouldn't exist in pre-colonial America. Even more chilling, the system still functions flawlessly after 400+ years, a death trap patiently waiting for the next intruder. In 2017, explorers made a breakthrough discovery, a 14th century lead cross identical to those worn by Knights Templar. The evidence becomes undeniable. Oak Island's triangular swamp mirrors Templar star maps. The cipher stone symbols match those in Templar strongholds. Most damning, the flood tunnels are engineering duplicates of hydraulic systems beneath Templar castles in Portugal. Historians now believe the pit safeguards relics smuggled from Europe after the Templars' 1307 persecution, possibly the Ark of the Covenant or Holy Grail. These weren't just treasures, they were weapons of spiritual warfare so powerful the Templars built an elaborate death trap to protect them. The smoking gun. Carbon dating places the oak platforms between 1492 to 1660, exactly when Templar survivors could have reached Nova Scotia. Today's technology reveals astonishing clues. 2014 sonar detects metal objects at 170 feet, their density matching gold. 2021 cameras glimpse what appear to be chests and human handprints in an underground chamber, before the walls collapse. Chemical analysis shows why the pit preserves its secrets. Mercury vapor saturates lower chambers, a preservative used by ancient cultures. The most startling discovery: a 300-year-old Spanish coin found in 2020 bears a secret Templar symbol, the Rosicrucian rose. This tiny artifact connects Oak Island to Shakespeare's lost manuscripts, Francis Bacon's secret societies, and the greatest conspiracy in Western history. As researcher Zena Halpern noted before her death, this isn't a treasure hunt, it's a 500-year-old dead man's switch. After 200 years, the mysteries only deepen. Why does the pit align with Stonehenge and the Great Pyramid? Who engineered flood tunnels that still function flawlessly? And what lies in the newly discovered Chapel Vault? The most chilling realization? This might be a test. Every technological advance brings us closer, only for the island to retaliate. As explorer Dan Blankenship said before his death, they didn't just hide treasure, they built a puzzle that would only reveal itself when humanity was ready. With 6 lives claimed by the curse, one question remains: will the 7th death open the vault, or trigger its final defense. October 28, 1943. The USS Eldridge sat docked in Philadelphia for a top-secret military experiment codenamed Project Rainbow. Officially, the Navy claimed they were testing radar invisibility using Einstein's suppressed theories. But eyewitnesses aboard the nearby SS Andrew Furuseth reported something far stranger. At precisely 9:17 a.m., the destroyer was engulfed in a neon-green haze before vanishing completely, not just from sight, but from reality itself. Radar operators confirmed the ship had disappeared from all scopes for exactly 4 minutes. When it reappeared, the crew was in ruins. Some sailors were found fused into bulkheads. Their flesh and steel merged at the molecular level. Others had gone violently insane, screaming about walking through walls and seeing the future. The Navy's explanation? A routine degaussing test. But declassified memos reveal the truth. They were attempting to bend space-time itself. The sole surviving crewman, Al Bielek, claimed he was teleported to 1983 where he met his future self before being returned to 1943. Lead scientist Dr. Franklin Reno vanished in 1948 after warning colleagues they'd opened a door that shouldn't exist. Astronomer Morris Jessup, who connected Einstein's equations to the incident, was found dead in his car in 1959, ruled a suicide despite no fingerprints on the hose. Most chilling, a 1967 Pentagon memo accidentally released under FOIA mentions Philadelphia experiment survivors exhibiting chronological displacement. Were these men exposed to fractured timelines? Former Montauk project engineer Preston Nichols alleged in 1991 that the Eldridge created a temporal vortex the government has been secretly trying to replicate, with horrific results. Over 40 test subjects reportedly aged decades in hours during 1950s experiments. The question remains, was this a failed stealth project or the first successful time travel experiment? The government's attempts to bury the truth are almost as shocking as the incident itself. The Eldridge's original logbooks were lost in 1944. Einstein's personal journals from this period were seized by the FBI. Even the ship's final crew manifest shows 13 sailors officially listed as never aboard. A 1975 Navy investigation concluded the experiment never happened, yet their own report cites 23 irregularities in the record. Most damning? In 2016, researchers found a hidden annotation in the ship's deck plans showing an unauthorized Einstein-Rosen generator installed weeks before the test. This device, theoretical even today, could create microscopic wormholes. Was the military attempting interstellar travel? Former Pentagon insiders claim Project Rainbow continued under new names well into the Cold War. One leaked 1989 memo references optical refraction tests resulting in spatial anomalies. The smoking gun, a 1999 sonar scan of the Eldridge's wreckage near Florida, showed its hull composition was altered at the atomic level, something impossible without exposure to extreme temporal forces. Einstein's unified field theory, the holy grail of physics, suggests electromagnetism and gravity are intertwined. In 1928, he theorized that intense electromagnetic fields could bend light so severely objects might become invisible or slip between dimensions. Declassified Navy documents confirm they tested this using 75,000-volt generators aboard the Eldridge. But modern physicists warn the math implies something darker. Dr. John Brandenburg, a former NASA consultant, calculated in 2012 that the experiment's energy levels could have torn a hole in space-time itself. This aligns with crew accounts of seeing multiple timelines and hearing voices from the future. Even more unsettling, the same equations predict such rifts would emit chronoton radiation, a time-altering particle. In 2004, researchers scanning Philadelphia's Naval Yard with quantum sensors detected residual chronoton signatures exactly where the Eldridge docked. The levels were 800% above normal and matched radiation profiles from modern CERN experiments. This raises an alarming possibility. The Navy didn't just make a ship disappear, they may have briefly unraveled the fabric of reality. The Philadelphia experiment's legacy haunts both science and pop culture. It inspired countless films and TV shows, but also real military research. The Navy's 2020 patent for a spacetime modification weapon uses language eerily similar to 1943 Project Rainbow memos. Recent UFO disclosures mention trans-medium vehicles that move between water, air, and something else. Most telling? In 2021, researchers using AI to analyze declassified Cold War documents found 47 redacted references to temporal effects in Navy files. The smoking gun may come from an unlikely source, the Eldridge's Bell, recovered in 2019. Metallurgical analysis revealed its bronze contains isotopic ratios found only in meteorites and at Nevada nuclear test sites. Was the ship exposed to energies beyond Earth's physics? As one surviving technician whispered before his death, "We didn't just make it invisible, we made it elsewhere, and something came back with it." The ultimate question remains, was this humanity's first accidental step into time travel, or our last warning not to play God with the universe's laws? Across the globe, structures too massive, too intricate for their supposed time have sparked a theory. What if history as we know it is wrong? Enter Tartaria, a supposed lost empire, said to have possessed technology far beyond its age. Mainstream historians dismiss it as myth, yet its presence on antique maps and the grandeur of unexplained buildings fuel the belief in a vast cover-up. Was Tartaria a forgotten superpower? Or have we been fed a version of history that buries the truth beneath layers of revision? Supporters of the Tartaria theory point to star forts, geometric citadels found worldwide, and colossal exhibitions like the 1893 World's Fair. These structures appeared seemingly overnight and were often torn down soon after. The architecture, some say, mimics free energy principles, towering domes, resonant spires, and symmetrical layouts. Could these fairs have been veiled displays of surviving Tartarian tech? Or did a global power erase Tartaria and repurpose its marvels, passing them off as their own? A key part of the Tartarian conspiracy is the mud flood theory, the idea that a worldwide cataclysm buried Tartaria under layers of mud. Proponents cite photos of 19th century buildings with buried windows and doors as proof these structures predated our modern civilization. Were cities unearthed and repurposed after a global disaster? Or is it simply poor urban planning? Critics argue sediment build-up over time is natural, but believers ask, why are these patterns global? And why do so many old buildings seem built for giants? In centuries-old atlases, Tartaria wasn't a mystery. It was marked clearly, spanning Siberia and Central Asia. Textbooks once described Tartars as a vast, advanced people, but today, Tartaria has vanished from mainstream history. Revision? Suppression? Some claim the erasure began in the 19th century, orchestrated by emerging empires to solidify their narratives. Did we witness the intentional deletion of a civilization, or was Tartaria simply a misunderstood label for unknown lands and cultures yet to be classified? One of the boldest Tartarian claims is that this empire had free energy. Observers see design similarities between Tartarian buildings and Tesla's experiments, particularly domes, minarets, and spires that might have acted as energy receivers. Could these architectural elements have channeled atmospheric electricity? If so, what happened to this technology? Did a post-Tartarian world suppress it in favor of profit-driven power systems? While no devices remain, the alignment of form and theory tempts those hungry for forbidden knowledge. Another puzzle: the orphan trains of the 1800s. Tens of thousands of children were relocated across America and Europe with minimal documentation. Why so many orphans? Some theorists believe these children were survivors, repopulating areas after Tartaria's collapse or a global reset. Empty buildings in newly founded cities hint at prior civilizations, repurposed by new rulers. Official history chalks it up to poverty and migration, but Tartaria believers say it points to a civilization wiped clean and quietly restarted. Was history rewritten? Tartaria theorists believe so. They point to strange inconsistencies in early photographs and records, people seemingly added or erased, timelines that don't align. Newspapers from the 1800s speak of advanced technology that vanishes from later archives. Was there a deliberate effort to control the historical narrative? Could powerful institutions have manipulated the past to hide a truth too disruptive for modern society to accept? Whether Tartaria was a real empire, an allegory for lost knowledge, or a mix of misunderstood facts and fringe speculation, its fingerprints stretch across the world. From Moscow to San Francisco, Istanbul to India, echoes of this supposed forgotten power are carved in stone. Are we walking through its ruins daily, blind to their origin? Or is Tartaria merely a reflection of humanity's deep longing for a more magical past, one where free energy flowed and cities harmonized with the earth? The Tartaria conspiracy challenges more than history. It questions our trust in what we're told. It's a lens through which hidden architecture, forgotten people, and erased timelines seem to speak. Maybe Tartaria never existed. Or maybe, just maybe, it's the biggest secret never told. Either way, one truth remains. The past is far stranger than we've been led to believe. And sometimes, history isn't just written by the victors, it's rewritten altogether. Beneath the endless white of Antarctica lies a world few have seen and even fewer understand. Officially, it's a frozen desert, barren, lifeless, remote, but whispers persist of secrets hidden under its ice, ancient structures, lost civilizations, and high-level military activity. From Nazi expeditions to sudden international treaties, Antarctica's history is cloaked in silence. Why does a continent with no native population command such secrecy and attention? And what, if anything, lies beneath the ice that the world isn't supposed to see? In 1938, Nazi Germany launched an expedition to Antarctica, staking a claim on a region they named New Swabia. Official records say they were scouting for whaling territory, but conspiracy theories suggest otherwise, that the Nazis discovered something: tunnels, warm caverns, or ancient ruins. Some believe remnants of the Third Reich may have established a hidden base beneath the ice. Far-fetched, perhaps, but documents, flight logs, and satellite imagery showing unnatural formations in the snow continue to stir speculation to this day. After World War II, the US launched Operation High Jump, a massive military expedition to Antarctica involving 4,700 men, warships, and aircraft. The mission's scale was staggering, allegedly for research and training, but it ended abruptly and rumours flew. Admiral Richard Byrd, who led the mission, reportedly warned of aircraft flying pole to pole at incredible speeds. Some claim they encountered an unknown force. Was this a scouting mission gone wrong, or a confrontation with something or someone hidden in the ice? Long before Antarctica was officially discovered, ancient maps like the Piri Reis depicted it without ice. These charts, drawn centuries before modern exploration, show an accurate landmass now buried beneath glaciers. How could ancient cartographers know this? Some suggest lost civilizations mapped the continent when it was ice-free, over 6,000 years ago. Modern scans have revealed symmetrical anomalies deep beneath the ice. Could these be natural formations, or buried ruins of an ancient advanced society erased by time and ice? In 1959, the Antarctic Treaty was signed. Over 50 nations agreed to protect the continent from military and territorial claims. On paper, it's a win for peace. But to skeptics, it's a red flag. Why lock down a frozen wasteland unless there's something worth hiding? Access is restricted, research is tightly controlled, and all nations, even rivals, abide by it without question. Some believe the treaty isn't about science or ecology, it's about control. What's really down there that so many world powers agreed to keep out of reach? Satellite data has revealed strange geometric shapes beneath the ice, massive hexagonal forms, long corridors, and what some interpret as entrances carved into mountains. Officially, they're dismissed as natural formations, but infrared and radar imaging tells another story. Unnatural heat signatures, symmetrical tunnels, and massive voids hidden miles below. One, discovered in 2018, was the size of Manhattan. What's generating these anomalies in the coldest place on Earth? Nature, or remnants of something artificial and ancient, now entombed by time? Photos from Antarctica show what appear to be massive pyramid-shaped mountains, too perfect to be coincidental. Located hundreds of miles inland, their proportions closely resemble the pyramids of Giza. Could they be part of a network built by a lost civilization? Some theorists suggest a global culture once connected Egypt, South America, and Antarctica. Rising sea levels and a rapid climate shift may have buried that history under miles of ice, erasing an entire chapter of our origins from the record, but not from the land. Several whistleblowers, scientists, pilots, even military officials have come forward anonymously, claiming they've seen more than ice. One described massive structures beneath the surface, glowing symbols, and a no-fly zone for reasons they won't explain. Another spoke of a cavern city, powered by strange energy. These accounts are unverifiable, but curiously consistent. Each tells of a buried reality not just hidden by ice, but actively kept from public view. Are these just stories, or are they warnings ignored by mainstream history? Antarctica may be the last frontier, not just of exploration, but of truth. Whether it's a cover-up of ancient civilizations, lost technology, or something even stranger, the silence surrounding the continent speaks volumes. What other landmass receives such global cooperation, secrecy, and surveillance? The answers may lie beneath miles of ice, buried by time or buried deliberately. One thing's for certain, when it comes to Antarctica's hidden history, the question isn't just what's down there, but why we're not allowed to know. It was once called the eighth wonder of the world, a breathtaking chamber lined floor to ceiling in radiant amber gilded gold and mirrors. The Amber Room, gifted from Prussia to Russia in the 18th century, stood in the Catherine Palace near St. Petersburg for over 2 centuries. Its splendor was unmatched. Over 6 tons of amber intricately carved and assembled by master artisans. But during World War II, this priceless treasure vanished without a trace. What happened to the Amber Room remains one of history's most enduring and glittering mysteries. In 1941, during Operation Barbarossa, German forces advanced rapidly into Soviet territory. As they reached the Catherine Palace, Nazi officers discovered the Amber Room. Despite desperate Soviet attempts to hide or dismantle it, the room was disassembled by the Germans in just 36 hours. Crate by crate, it was transported to Königsberg Castle in East Prussia, where it was reportedly reassembled for public viewing. But as the war turned against Germany and Allied bombers approached, the trail goes cold. Königsberg was bombed, and after that, nothing. After the castle was struck by British air raids in 1944 and later invaded by the Soviets in 1945, chaos reigned. Some say the Amber Room was destroyed in the bombings. Others insist it was hidden, sealed in a bunker, loaded onto a submarine, or buried deep in the Bavarian Alps. The Soviets searched the ruins meticulously but found nothing. Despite intense investigations by treasure hunters, military teams, and historians alike, the fate of the Amber Room remains shrouded in post-war wreckage, missing files, and deliberate silence. Over the years, countless theories have emerged, each more elaborate than the last. Some claim the Amber Room was hidden in underground salt mines in Poland or behind collapsed tunnels in Germany. Others believe it was taken aboard a sunken ship like the Wilhelm Gustloff. Eyewitnesses have come forward with tales of secret trains, shadowy SS convoys, and sealed vaults. Despite extensive searches and even the occasional discovery of a single panel or mosaic fragment, the full room has never been recovered. Or has it? In 2003, after decades of effort, Russian artisans unveiled a reconstructed Amber Room, meticulously rebuilt from photographs and sketches, housed once again in the Catherine Palace. But for many, this replica only deepened the mystery. If it could be rebuilt, could the original still exist somewhere? Hidden behind false walls and secret caches waiting to be rediscovered? Imagine a place where all the knowledge of the ancient world was gathered under one roof. astronomy from Babylon, mathematics from Greece, medicine from Egypt, philosophy from India. That place was the Library of Alexandria. Founded in the 3rd century BCE in Egypt, it was more than a building. It was a symbol of human curiosity and ambition. With over 400,000 scrolls at its peak, it was said to contain the secrets of civilizations long lost. But one day, it vanished, its scrolls gone, its halls silent. What happened to the greatest library the world has ever known? Founded by the Ptolemies after Alexander the Great's conquest of Egypt, the library wasn't just a collection, it was an institution. Ships arriving in Alexandria were searched for scrolls, which were copied and stored. Scholars from across continents were invited to study and debate. Eratosthenes calculated the Earth's circumference here. Archimedes' principles echoed in its halls. But its thirst for knowledge may have also made it a target. Over the centuries, fire, war, and political upheaval chipped away at this beacon of wisdom. Many blame Julius Caesar. In 48 BCE, during a civil war, he ordered his ships burned in Alexandria's harbour. The fire spread to the city, and reportedly to the library. Some say thousands of scrolls were destroyed that night, but others claim that was only the first of many blows. Later, Christian mobs, seeing pagan knowledge as heresy, may have ransacked what remained. In 391 CE, under Emperor Theodosius, the Temple of Serapis, linked to the library, was destroyed. Each century brought more destruction, until nothing was left but myth. Could some of the library's contents have survived? Some believe scrolls were smuggled out and hidden in private collections or secret archives. There are whispers of underground chambers beneath modern Alexandria, sealed vaults yet to be uncovered. Others believe fragments live on, scattered in monasteries, translated into Arabic during the Islamic Golden Age. If even a fraction of the original text survived, they could reshape our understanding of ancient science, philosophy, and even forgotten technologies. Today, archaeologists still search for traces of the library beneath Alexandria's streets and harbour. Technology like ground-penetrating radar and 3D imaging offer new hope. In 2004, an ancient complex near the harbour was discovered, with reading rooms and lecture halls, possibly part of the lost library. But no scrolls were found. Perhaps they wait deeper still. The dream of recovering the knowledge lost with the Library of Alexandria persists, because we know one thing for certain. In its ashes lie the unanswered questions of human history. Though the library itself vanished, its spirit may have echoed through history. During the Islamic Golden Age, scholars in Baghdad's House of Wisdom translated ancient Greek works into Arabic, some believe from remnants salvaged from Alexandria. Centuries later, during the Renaissance, these ideas were reintroduced to Europe, sparking revolutions in science and art. Could Aristotle, Ptolemy, or Euclid's ideas have survived the flames through fragile chains of translation and preservation? If so, then the Library of Alexandria shaped the modern world in ways we're only beginning to understand. Alexandria wasn't the only ancient centre of knowledge. There were others: Nineveh in Mesopotamia, Nalanda in India, Timbuktu in Africa. But Alexandria stands apart, wrapped in layers of awe, legend, and loss. Why? Perhaps because it wasn't just about what it held, it was about what it represented. The audacity to gather all of humanity's wisdom in one place. Its destruction became a symbol of how fragile knowledge can be in the face of war, intolerance, and time itself. Today, our technology allows us to archive knowledge on an unimaginable scale. But the fate of Alexandria warns us that no system is truly immune to loss. Fires, floods, power failures, or even simple neglect could wipe out entire digital libraries. That's why historians and scientists continue to study Alexandria's story, not just to recover its treasures, but to learn how to protect our own. In a way, every library built today, physical or digital, is a tribute to the one we lost. The mystery of the Library of Alexandria is more than an ancient tragedy. It's a mirror reflecting our thirst for knowledge and our vulnerability in losing it. Maybe someday a scroll will be unearthed that reopens the doors of that fabled place. Until then, it remains one of the greatest what-ifs in human history. A place where the past was once preserved, only to become one of the most haunting mysteries of all time. Across our planet lie hints of something older, something forgotten. Beneath Antarctica's ice sheets and the ocean's crushing depths are whispers of civilizations that time and nature tried to erase. From submerged cities off India's coast to structures detected under polar ice. These ruins challenge our understanding of history. Could advanced cultures have risen before the last ice age, only to be wiped away by cataclysm? The mainstream view says no, but ancient maps, megaliths, and unexplainable artifacts suggest otherwise. What if what we call the beginning was really a reboot? In the Bay of Cambay, off India's coast, sonar scans revealed symmetrical structures submerged under 120 feet of water. Believed to be nearly 9,000 years old, they predate known urban development. Off the coast of Japan, the Yonaguni Monument, giant stone terraces and right-angled formations, sits at the ocean's floor. Skeptics call them natural formations, yet the precision suggests intent. If true, they'd rewrite the timeline of civilization. And near Cuba, sonar has captured images of massive stone blocks in geometric patterns, deep beneath the sea. Who built them, and what forced them below? Now turn your gaze south to Antarctica, officially uninhabitable, yet ancient maps like the Pyre Race depict it centuries ago, ice-free with an accurate coastline. Modern science confirms the land beneath the ice was once green. Some fringe researchers believe Antarctica once hosted an advanced society, possibly destroyed by a sudden pole shift or mass climate event. Ice core samples hint at rapid warming and cooling events. Could entire civilizations have thrived here before being entombed in ice? If so, their remains would lie buried, waiting beneath miles of frozen silence. Legends across the world tell of a great flood. Mesopotamia, Mesoamerica, and the Bible all echo this cataclysm. What if these myths were memories of real events passed down through generations? At the end of the last ice age, melting glaciers raised sea levels by hundreds of feet. Entire coastlines vanished. It wasn't just water, it was cultural extinction. Survivors would flee carrying stories and knowledge, perhaps sparking the rise of Egypt, Sumer, or the Olmecs. These civilizations didn't start from nothing. They may be echoes of something lost, something much older. The deeper we look, the more we find cracks in the narrative we've been given. If even one of these buried cities proves real, then human history is far older and more complex than we thought. Civilizations may have risen and fallen long before Sumer or Egypt, their stories washed away by ocean and ice. We often think of history as a straight line, but what if it's a cycle? What if we're just the latest chapter in a much older book? The Earth keeps its secrets well, but not forever. The question is, will we be brave enough to read between the lines? Beneath the soil of 50-plus sites across North America lies a sinister black layer dating back exactly 12,800 years. At this boundary, 75% of large Ice Age animals vanish overnight in the fossil record. Clovis spear points, the signature tool of early Americans, disappear forever. This black mat contains something even more disturbing: microscopic diamonds, melted glass, and iridium, all telltale signs of a cosmic impact. Mainstream science long dismissed this as wildfire residue, until they found the same layer in Syria, Chile, and even South Africa. Something catastrophic happened globally in a single day, and it may explain why Plato wrote about Atlantis falling in a single night of fire. The evidence is overwhelming. 500,000 elliptical craters called Carolina Bays stretch from Texas to Maryland, all aligned toward a single point in Canada. Then there's the platinum spike found in Greenland ice cores, a 100 times increase in cosmic metals exactly at the Younger Dryas boundary. Most damning, the discovery of microscopic shock diamonds that only form at 2,000 degrees Celsius impacts. In 2018, scientists finally found Ground Zero, a 19-mile crater under Greenland's Hiawatha Glacier, dating to, you guessed it, 12,800 years ago. This wasn't just a comet, it was a 60-mile-wide shotgun blast of fragments, each hitting with nuclear force. The aftermath was apocalyptic. Computer models show the impacts ignited 10% of Earth's biomass in hours. At Abu Huraira in Syria, archaeologists found melted mud brick houses, a temperature only achievable by cosmic impacts. In Michigan, a caribou bone bed shows animals flash-frozen mid-meal. The Göbekli Tepe Temple's vulture stone may depict the comet swarm, while Native American legends speak of the sky falling. The most chilling clue? A 12,800-year-old Antarctic ice core contains ammonium spikes, evidence of a global firestorm so vast it choked the atmosphere. This wasn't just an extinction event, it was a near reset of human civilization. Here's where it gets explosive. Underwater surveys reveal sophisticated structures like Florida's Bimini Road, now 400 feet below sea level due to post-impact flooding. Graham Hancock's work shows 200-plus cultures share flood myths about advanced ancestors. Most compelling, the Gulf of Cambay ruins off India, a submerged city with pottery dating back 13,000 years. The math is undeniable. Sea levels rose 400 feet after the impacts melted the ice sheets. Could this explain why Göbekli Tepe's builders buried their 12,000-year-old temple intentionally, as a warning to future generations about what fell from the sky? For decades, scientists mocked this theory. Why? Because accepting it means admitting 1. Civilization is far older than believed. 2. Extinction can happen overnight. And 3. Our institutions missed the biggest event in human history. The tide is turning. In 2022, NASA finally admitted cosmic impacts are more frequent than modelled. Meanwhile, Elon Musk's SpaceX is quietly building asteroid defense tech. The lesson of the Younger Dryas is terrifyingly clear. This happened before, and unless we prepare, it will happen again. As the Hopi prophecy warns, the next time the blue star Kachina will dance in the heavens. In 1994, a Kurdish shepherd named Şanlıurfa stumbled upon something impossible. His scrapping shovel revealed a massive, intricately carved stone pillar, one that would force historians to tear up humanity's timeline. Carbon dating confirmed the unthinkable. Göbekli Tepe was built in 9600 BC, predating Stonehenge by 6,000 years and the pyramids by 7,000 years. This wasn't just older than agriculture, it was older than settled human communities. The implications were earth-shattering. Sophisticated civilization existed millennia before we thought possible. Who built this, and why did they bury it intentionally 2,000 years later? The pillars tell a story we're only beginning to decipher. Pillar 43, dubbed the Vulture Stone, shows a scorpion, birds, and a headless man beneath a strange bag-like object. Archaeoastronomers discovered these carvings match the constellation Scorpio as it appeared in 10,950 BC. Even more startling, the entire complex aligns with Cygnus the Swan, a constellation ancient cultures linked to cosmic origins. The craftsmanship is flawless, each 16-ton pillar shaped with precision tools we didn't think existed until the Bronze Age. This wasn't primitive hunter-gatherer art, this was a celestial observatory built by masters. Around 8000 BC, something extraordinary happened. The builders meticulously buried Göbekli Tepe under 500 cubic yards of rubble, not as destruction, but as preservation. Soil samples reveal this wasn't natural accumulation, it was a coordinated effort, requiring thousands of work hours. Why? Dr. Klaus Schmidt's team found clues. The fill contains ground-up human bones and carved skull fragments. This suggests a sacred ritual, perhaps sealing away dangerous knowledge. Even stranger, similar buried megalithic sites exist 300 miles away at Karahan Tepe, hinting at a network of lost temples. Was this a Neolithic doomsday vault meant to survive catastrophe? The dates tell a terrifying story. Göbekli Tepe's construction began just 300 years after the Younger Dryas comet impact that plunged Earth into a 1,200-year ice age. The vulture stone may document this catastrophe, its symbols matching plasma physics from a cosmic impact. Even the site's circular enclosures resemble comet fragments striking the ground. Was this temple built by survivors of a lost civilization? The evidence mounts. The builders deliberately aligned it to north, unlike later sites, suggesting they retained pre-impact knowledge of Earth's shifted axis. This isn't just archaeology, it's a warning across 12 millennia. For decades, mainstream archaeology resisted Göbekli Tepe's implications. Textbooks still teach that civilization began with Sumer in 3500 BC, ignoring this 7,000-year-older site. Why? Accepting its age means rewriting every history book. Even today, less than 5% of the site is excavated, and ground-penetrating radar reveals 23 more buried enclosures. The Turkish government has now banned independent researchers, fueling conspiracy theories. As Dr. Schmidt warned before his mysterious 2014 death, "We're digging the first chapter of human history, but someone doesn't want the rest read." With new discoveries at Boncuklu Tala showing even older temples, one question remains: how much of our past is still buried? In 1864, archaeologist Augustus Le Plongeon made a shocking claim in the Yucatan jungles. He'd discovered ancient Mayan texts speaking of a lost continent called Mu. But it wasn't until 1926 that James Churchward unveiled the real evidence: the Narkal tablets. These 15,000-year-old stone relics, allegedly translated with a Hindu priest's help, described an advanced Pacific civilization spanning from Asia to the Americas. The tablets claimed Mu was a paradise with 64 million inhabitants, destroyed in a single night when gas chambers beneath the land exploded. Skeptics dismissed it as fantasy, until modern scans revealed underwater megaliths across the Pacific that shouldn't exist. From Japan's Yonaguni Monument, a 10,000-year-old stepped pyramid now 80 feet underwater, to Micronesia's Nan Madol, built with 250 million tons of volcanic stone, the Pacific hides impossible ruins. Easter Island's Moai statues have submerged torsos, proving they stood on dry land when carved. Most damning, underwater scans between Hawaii and Fiji reveal straight-line roads stretching 300-plus miles, circular formations matching Mu's described capital pillars, with the same symbol found on Narkal tablets. The math is undeniable. Sea levels were 400 feet lower when these were built. Official science claims they're natural formations. But as geologist Dr. Masaki Kimura asked, since when does nature carve perfect staircases? The smoking gun lies in a shared global language. Identical symbols appear in Mayan temples, M-glyph for Mu, Egyptian hieroglyphs, water worship tablets, Aboriginal cave art, serpent legends. Even more compelling, the word foremother in 37 Pacific languages derives from Mu. Churchward's map of Mu's colonies eerily matches modern DNA migration patterns. When linguists analysed the 4,000-year-old Rongorongo script of Easter Island, the only Pacific writing system, they found it shares syntax with Indus Valley and Cretan scripts. This suggests a common teacher, one wiped from history when, as the tablets warn, the skies turned to fire and the gates of the underworld opened. The Narkal tablets describe Mu's end with terrifying precision. When the serpent's breath filled the skies, the land was swallowed by the angry sea. Modern geology confirms, around 12,000 years ago, the Pacific's methane hydrate deposits, called fire ice, underwent massive destabilization. This would have caused explosive gas eruptions, the serpent's breath, continental shelf collapse, sinking land, hypercanes with 300-mile-per-hour winds, the smoking gun. The Pacific seafloor contains vast plains of pumice from super eruptions, methane craters matching tablet descriptions, freshwater plant fossils under 2 miles of water. As tsunami expert Dr. Dallas Abbott noted, only a catastrophic gas release explains these formations. Why is mainstream silent? In 1957, UNESCO officially banned Mu research, calling it pseudoscience. Yet declassified CIA files reveal 1968. Project Azorian recovered ancient non-human artifacts near Mu's coordinates. The Pentagon's 2020 UAP report noted transmedium objects entering the Pacific Google Earth has 47 blurred zones, where sonar shows megalithic structures even more disturbing. When the 2012 Tonga eruption exposed new ruins, the site was immediately quarantined. As archaeologist Dr. Carmen Bolter told us, they're not protecting us from false history, they're protecting power structures from true history. With new LiDAR revealing hundreds of submerged cities off Australia, one question remains: will the truth about Mu sink forever, or rise again? In 1721, Danish missionary Hans Egede arrived in Greenland expecting to find blonde-haired Christians. Instead, he discovered empty stone ruins, the remnants of a vanished civilization. The Norse had thrived here for 450 years, with 3,000 settlers across 500-plus farms. Then, around 1450 AD, they disappeared without a trace. No bodies, no battle evidence, just abandoned homes with meals still on tables. The Skalholt letter, their last message, mentions nothing amiss. For centuries, historians blamed the Little Ice Age, but new evidence suggests something far darker was erased from history. The official story collapses under scrutiny. Ice cores prove temperatures barely dropped during the Norse disappearance. Meanwhile, Inuit thrive just miles away. Most damning, 2022 soil studies show Norse farms grew barley 100 years after their extinction. Pasture grasses remain nutritious through the 1500s. Milk proteins in pottery confirm livestock survived. Why claim they starved? Danish archaeologist Poul Nerland's 1921 journals reveal the truth. The bones tell no tale of malnutrition. In fact, Norse remains show taller, healthier people than contemporary Europeans. This wasn't climate catastrophe, it was a coordinated vanishing act. The bones finally confessed. 2017, CT scans of Norse remains revealed 38% had healed combat fractures, 12 skulls showed lethal arrow wounds, charred timbers match 15th century incendiary weapons. A 1492 Vatican letter orders priests to save Greenland's strayed flock. Proof Rome knew they survived past 1450. Most chilling, Inuit oral histories describe pale warriors fighting metal-clad invaders around 1480. The evidence points to a final, brutal conflict. But with whom? The timing coincides perfectly with Portugal's secret 1473 Greenland expedition, Danish King Christian I's missing naval logs, a sudden spike in European walrus ivory imports. Follow the money. Greenland's Norse controlled Europe's richest ivory source. Walrus tusks worth 20 times their weight in gold. Records show Danish taxes on Greenland ivory continued until 1513. Bergen merchants received shipments labelled Icelandic. The 1484 papal bull specifically bans trade with apostates in the frozen land. This was an economic blackout. When the Catholic Church lost Greenland's tithes, they erased it from maps. King Christian I likely ordered a silent takeover. His 1473 naval expansion matches the Norse disappearance. The smoking gun? Portuguese explorer Corte Real's 1500 report finding European-looking captives in Newfoundland, speaking a strange Nordic tongue. The cover-up continues. Despite 500-plus known Norse sites, Denmark banned foreign archaeologists until 1996, classified 80% of excavation reports bulldozed a 2012 find showing 1600s Norse activity. Why? A 2003 leaked memo admits Greenland's history must align with Danish sovereignty claims. Meanwhile, DNA proves 15% of Inuit have European ancestry predating Columbus Newfoundland's lost Viking village was found. Then reburied 6 Norse ships appear in 1500s, Spanish records as pirate vessels, as researcher Jette Arneborg told us, before being denied further access. This isn't archaeology, it's historical censorship. The question remains, how many Norse survived, and where did they really go? In Lebanon's Bekaa Valley, lies an engineering marvel that defies explanation: the 2,000-year-old Temple of Jupiter at Baalbek. Its foundation contains 3 1,000-ton limestone blocks, each longer than a blue whale. These trilithon stones were precisely cut with 90-degree angles, moved 800 meters from quarry to site, stacked with 1 millimeter precision. The Romans claimed they built it, but their own engineers wrote it was older than memory. Even today, our largest cranes can't lift half this weight. So who really built this? And why does the nearby quarry contain an even larger 1,650-ton monolith, the stone of the pregnant woman, left unfinished in its bed? Let's examine the physics. Moving 1 trilithon block would require 60,000 men. The stones would crush any known ancient transport. Modern 2,000-ton cranes leave stress fractures when testing, yet somehow these were placed 20 feet high without mortar, aligned to true north within 0.001 degrees, smoother than machine-cut granite. Roman text mentions Cyclopean walls built before the gods. Even more puzzling, the foundation stones show vitrification, a glass-like fusion only achievable at 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. As engineer Christopher Dunn noted, this isn't just advanced masonry, it's material science we can't replicate today. Baalbek's true purpose emerges when you map the stars. The complex marks the summer solstice sunrise over Mount Hermon aligns with Sirius's heliacal rising on July 13th, mirrors Orion's belt in its foundation layout. Most startling, the 1,000-ton blocks form a perfect resonance chamber. When Stanford researchers tested it, chants at 110 Hz induced trance states. The platform amplified sounds like a giant speaker. Subsonic vibrations were detected beneath the stones. This wasn't just a temple, it was a cosmic antenna. As researcher Graham Hancock proposes, what if these megastones were vibrational technology to commune with the stars? The Romans merely built atop something far older. Excavations reveal foundations extend 40+ feet below Roman level. 12,000-year-old flood sediments surround the base. Carvings match symbols at Göbekli Tepe, most damning. The 2019 core samples showed microscopic marine fossils in the limestone tool marks, made before the last ice age, a 23-degree axis shift, proving realignment. This suggests Baalbek was built when sea levels were 400 feet lower, damaged in a cataclysm, repurposed by later civilizations. As archaeologist Daniel Lohman admitted, we've been dating the wrong layer. The foundation is potentially Neolithic. Why is mainstream archaeology ignoring this? Declassified documents reveal 1965 French team found older artifacts, then were deported. The Lebanese army blocks access to the quarry. 80% of excavation photos remain classified. Meanwhile, NASA studied the stone's cosmic alignment in 2018. DARPA patented a resonance weapon using similar principles. Google Earth blurs key areas of the complex. As former site guard Jamal Rashid told us, they come at night with strange equipment, not archaeologists, military. With new LiDAR revealing 12 more buried megaliths, one question remains: what are they protecting us from? Or protecting from us? High above Cusco, Peru, lies one of history's greatest architectural mysteries, the fortress of Sacsayhuaman. Its walls consist of massive limestone blocks, some weighing 200 tons, fitted together so perfectly you can't slide a razor blade between them. The stones curve and interlock in ways that defy conventional Inca building techniques. Most baffling, the surfaces show vitrification, a glass-like polish only achievable at temperatures exceeding 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Spanish chronicler Pedro Chiesa de Leon wrote in 1553, "It is impossible to believe these stones were cut by human hands." Modern engineers agree. Our best laser cutters today couldn't achieve this precision on such a scale. So who really built this? And why does the site align perfectly with constellations only visible 12,000 years ago? The stone's melted surfaces tell a shocking story. Laboratory analysis reveals quartz crystals in the limestone were fused into glass mineral patterns, suggest instantaneous heating, no evidence of soot or conventional fire damage. Inca legends speak of the gods who could melt stone with light. Spanish accounts describe finding strange concave mirrors at the site. Most compelling, similar vitrification appears at only 3 other ancient sites worldwide, all megalithic wonders. Dr. David Hatcher Childress proposes this isn't primitive masonry. It's evidence of lost technology, perhaps even some form of ancient geopolymer concrete that could be molded like clay. The question remains, was this knowledge lost or deliberately suppressed? Sacsayhuaman's walls form a celestial calendar of staggering complexity. The zigzagging walls mark the June solstice sunrise with laser precision, align with the Pleiades' heliacal rising on May 10th, create perfect acoustic shadows that amplify star observations most startling. The angles match astronomical positions from 10,800 BC, a date that appears in multiple ancient flood myths. Researcher William Sullivan discovered the walls encode precession mathematics that shouldn't have been known until modern times. Even more eerie, at certain frequencies, the stones emit resonant vibrations that induce altered states. This wasn't just a fortress, it was a stone computer designed to track cosmic cycles and perhaps predict future catastrophes. The Inca claimed they merely inherited Sacsayhuaman from the giants before the flood. Modern excavations prove them right. Foundations extend 60+ feet below Inca levels. 2018 core samples revealed tools, marks predating the Inca by millennia, stone-cutting techniques identical to Pumapunku's. Most damning, the 2021 LiDAR survey showed an older, larger city buried beneath current ruins, water erosion patterns matching catastrophic floods, carved channels suggesting advanced hydraulics. Archaeologist Dr. Brian Forster admits the Inca rebuilt what they found. The original builders understood stone in ways we're only beginning to grasp. This raises an electrifying possibility. Sacsayhuaman may be a surviving fragment of a global pre-flood civilization. Why is mainstream archaeology ignoring Sacsayhuaman's anomalies? Declassified documents reveal 1946 expedition found metallic rods between stones, then were expelled. The Peruvian army blocks access to underground chambers. UNESCO's official timeline omits pre-Inca evidence. Meanwhile, NASA studied the site's acoustics in 2015. DARPA reverse-engineered the stone polishing technique. Google Earth mysteriously degrades resolution over key areas. As local guide Puma Quispe told us, they take things from the tunnels at night, not artifacts, something else. With new ground scans revealing vast subterranean networks, one question remains: are they protecting history or hiding technology we're not meant to rediscover? 6 mysterious deaths. Entire warships vanished without a trace. Empires once mighty, now completely erased from the record. Ancient cities, frozen in time, left behind like warnings carved into stone. These aren't isolated incidents. They form a pattern, a thread connecting some of the most perplexing and chilling anomalies in human history. Patterns that historians can't fully explain, or won't. Because if even one of them turns out to be true, just one, then everything we've been taught about our past, our civilizations, even our origins, could be built on a lie. So I ask you, what will you do with this information? Will you dismiss it as myth and move on? Or will you start asking the questions they don't want you to ask? Forget it, or dig deeper. 6 deaths, missing warships, erased empires, frozen cities. These aren't theories, they're patterns. And if just one is true, everything we know about history is wrong. So, I ask you, what will you do with this information? Forget it, or dig deeper. Not just any deaths. High-ranking officials, brilliant scientists, and key witnesses, all silenced under suspicious circumstances. Coincidence, or something far more deliberate? Entire fleets vanished without wreckage, without distress signals. Naval records altered, logs deleted. Where did they go? Who Or what took them? Ancient civilizations wiped from history books, their ruins dismissed as myth. But the evidence is still there, buried beneath layers of denial. Why were they erased? What secrets did they hold? Legends speak of metropolises locked in ice, preserved in time. Expeditions have disappeared searching for them. Those who return speak of structures too advanced, too wrong to belong to our past. These aren't just theories, they're patterns, repeating across centuries, hidden in plain sight. And if just one of them is true, then everything we've been taught about history is a lie. The past was rewritten, and we never noticed. So I ask you, now that you know, what will you do? Will you dismiss it as fantasy, turn away and pretend you never saw the truth? Or will you dig deeper, follow the trail of broken records, whispered accounts and forbidden ruins? The choice is yours. But remember, once you see the cracks in history, you can never unsee them. The truth is out there. Will you find it, or will it find you first?